You know, when you walk into like a high-end conference room or a modern lecture hall, you rarely actually look up.
Yeah, you really don't.
Right. But if you did, you'd probably just see this simple white bracket holding up a camera. It kind of just blends right into the ceiling. So today we are doing a deep dive into the, well, surprisingly robust engineering hiding behind that unremarkable white paint. Specifically, we're looking at the HuddleCamHD HCM-2C-WH ceiling mount.
That is quite the model name.
It is, yeah. But okay, let's unpack this because getting a camera to hang securely over people's heads is a lot more complex than just driving a few screws into drywall.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're talking about a $159 piece of hardware here,
Yeah.
and it's designed specifically for center mount PTZ cameras.
Right.
And when you have a camera suspended high above a room like that, you need absolute stability. Like, any microvibration completely ruins the video feed.
Yeah, and that actually brings up something in the spec sheet. It keeps calling this thing a thin profile mount.
Mm.
But looking at the actual build, I mean, it is a 3.5-pound slab of powder-coated heavy gauge steel. It's roughly 9.8 by 9.4 by 5.1 inches. So how can they call this low profile when it's built like a miniature tank?
Well, what's fascinating here is the actual physical problem they're solving, which is torque.
Oh, right.
Because a PTZ camera doesn't just sit there, it pans rapidly, it tilts, and that mechanical movement creates rotational force.
Which would normally make the camera wobble.
Exactly. If the mount flexes even a single millimeter, the camera shakes. So that heavy steel frame essentially acts as a rigid anchor. It just neutralizes that torque.
So it's thin in shape to tuck tight against the ceiling, but heavy in density to basically kill the vibration.
You got it.
That makes total sense.
Yep.
And looking at the specs, it has this universal 5.7-inch wide tray with a standard 1/4-20 slot.
Yeah, that 1/4-20 bolt is the industry standard.
Right.
By designing that heavy tray around it, they guarantee compatibility with really large footprint models. So things like the HuddleCamHD Air 12X or the 20X, and even PTZ optics camera.
Okay, wow.
It is engineered to handle maximum payload without compromising that rigid stability we just talked about.
So we know it's this heavy slab of steel to stop the camera from shaking, but that weight creates a totally new problem. Like, how do you actually hang it safely?
Yeah, that is the big question.
Right, because the source material mentions it comes with drywall and masonry anchors, but then it explicitly says the standard 1-inch NPT pipe and ceiling flange are not included. So what does this all mean for someone actually planning the installation?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of AV integration, you have to remember that every single room has a completely different drop ceiling height.
Oh, sure.
If the manufacturer included just, say, a generic 2-foot pipe, it would be totally useless for a room with 20-foot ceilings.
Right, it wouldn't drop down far enough.
Exactly. The flange is the heavy plate that bolts directly to the structural ceiling truss, and the drop pipe dictates the camera's final height. Leaving those parts out lets the installer customize the exact drop distance.
So they provide the connection point, but you have to provide the plumbing, basically.
Spot on. They give you an integrated 1-inch MPT nipple.
Which is just a threaded connector.
Yeah, exactly. It's a standardized threaded pipe connector right in the top center of the mount. You just screw your custom-length drop pipe directly into it.
In reading through the schematics, that threaded pipe isn't just for holding the mount, right? It's completely hollow.
Yes, it is.
So you can route your HDMI, your power, and your Ethernet cables straight up through the center of the mount, inside the pipe, and straight into the ceiling void.
Exactly. You literally don't see a single wire.
Wow.
It creates a completely clean aesthetic, and that same structural design allows the camera to be mounted completely upside down, too.
Wait, upside down.
Yeah, it bolts into that exact same tray, just inverted.
Which makes a ton of sense if you want to keep the exposed cables as short as possible. Or, I guess, if you need an unobstructed field of view without the physical base of the camera getting in the way of a really steep downward tilt.
Precisely.
And here's where it gets really interesting. You have this heavy, highly engineered piece of steel that literally acts as the physical foundation of your entire communication system.
Yeah, it really is the foundation.
And it is built to last. I mean, it's made in the USA, and it's backed by a 10-year warranty. So you basically do the hard work of installing it once, and then you just forget it exists.
It's designed to be invisible, really, but it dictates absolutely everything your audience sees.
That's a great point.
And, this raises an important question for you to consider. Since this specific mount makes it so easy to hang a camera upside down right from the ceiling, how might completely flipping a camera's physical placement change the visual perspective and even the power dynamics of the room you're broadcasting.